The world needs generalists. But what is a generalist? I think it's quite easy. A generalist is a person who knows a lot about a lot of different areas, topics, subjects, and likes to learn. That's basically it. Some people think it's like, yeah, they also call them jack of all trades and all kinds of names, but let's just focus for the moment on generalist. Is that you are only very superficial with your knowledge and experience. And that's totally not true. A generalist can go deep in many different areas, but then loses interest, becomes bored, is curious, and wants to know about many more different topics. And it's not only about your work, but it can also be like your work is a dentist, but you're very interested in tropical forests, or that you are a policeman and you are very interested in plants, or you are a nurse and you're very interested in history of the Romans. It doesn't matter. It can be any combination of things. And like I mentioned before, I think it's really that if you follow your curiosity, you put much more excitement, much more fun, much more fulfillment into your life. So a generalist is really, really something which I think, especially in these times of change and rapid change, is really urgently needed. And the reason for that is that, well, the world has always been connected. Yeah, it's not that in the time of the Romans or the Middle Ages the world was not connected, but it was much more local. And now, with the introduction of information technology, the internet, we can actually learn basically about just anything. And we can connect with just basically anybody all over the world in a very easy way. Yeah, I know there are people from all over the world watching these videos. That wasn't possible 50 years ago. Well, not even 25 years ago. So technology on one end, and I think transportation on the other end, facilitate the view that we are truly a global community and that everything what we do is connected. And that's what makes a generalist so crucial in today, and especially in dealing with all of the challenges in the world, because they easily, the more you know about different topics, the more you see the connections, the more you can connect the dots, the more you see is like, hey, I read it there, and hey, they do it like this, and hey, these guys did it also like that. So then you immediately form those smaller and bigger links. And I think that will only increase more and more. So we really need generalists. But it doesn't mean that we don't need specialists. Yeah, that's also the thinking where people mostly put things in it's black and white and they put it in you're either a generalist or a specialist. I think that's not true. I think there are many generalists who are a specialist in a couple of different areas. And at the same time, you need both. You need someone who knows everything about building bridges, but you also need a generalist who wants to see what the impact is on the different cultures if you have a bridge which connects two different countries, or the impact on the climate, or the how the traffic flow will go. So you still need people with these different specializations. And of course, I really urge you to become special, but don't limit, because the world changes, you change, and I think it's becoming an exception that you, for 30, 40 years, just focus on one area of specialization. Well, that would make me extremely nervous, and I totally dislike it. And then I Yeah, the moment I have to focus for a longer period of time just on one topic, I become nervous. I feel a pain in my stomach. That's not good. So it makes life more interesting because the more you start to understand about life, about yourself, about the planet, I think life becomes much more interesting. And in a world of where we should focus our attention on whatever, I would like to add what Scott Adams, he's the guy from the Dilbert cartoons. What he said is, I think, in this respect, very useful. He said, becoming the best at just one thing, whether you are a 100-meter sprinter in athletics, or whether you want to be the best bridge builder in the world, or you want to be a intensive care nurse. Yeah, so it's just one thing where you focus on and you want to become the best. That is hard. That's not easy. Then you're not competing with 7 billion people, but at least you're competing with a lot of folks. Yeah, so that makes it hard to be the best or to at least stand out. But what Scott Adams says is that you have to strive to become very good, which he means by top 25%, so not the total top, but the top 25%, in two or more things. Yeah, so combine a couple of these things and then become the best at that. Yeah, in his case, it was drawings and knowing about business and being funny. So he said, I was not the best drawer. I was not the best comedian. I know a little bit about business, but by combining the three in my Dilbert cartoon, he's become world famous. So again, that kind of proves the thing that you should know at least a fair amount about one or two or three or four different areas. So focus on that instead of uh, focusing on the frustration, like you have to find one thing what you do until you die. That's what frustrates so many people, and it's totally unnecessary. So, may I invite you to be a generalist? Thank you.